We are back for another episode of Ben and Reid's Things, Stuff and Words. As you can see, we are actually recording this one. We are holding microphones as well. My name is Ben Rogers. This guy right here is Reid Marnie. And we're very excited about this episode, Reid, because for the first time ever, we're using our portable podcast setup.
It's very exciting. You've spoken about this a fair bit in the lead up to this, and finally I can see what it looks like. Very impressive.
It's very, very basic. It's basically just a mobile phone with a little jack in the bottom of it and two Chinese microphones that literally cost $10 each. So
there's method to the madness, I'm sure.
It's amazing how you can get a podcast working on a budget. I think people think that they have to have all these fancy condenser microphones and all that kind of stuff, but it's just like, well, no, we've just got this and we're going to be fine. So,
is it a bit awkward that I know someone who works in the radio industry, and on Twitter, they're constantly saying, how do I get a podcast up and running? Like, mate, you work for a radio station. Surely you should know better than anyone how to get a podcast up and running.
If you work at a radio station and you have access to a studio, then surely you can just use the studio at work.
Exactly. You've got microphones. You've got it all set up there, ready to go.
I mean, I would do that if the radio station that I worked at was actually in the same city as the one that we live in, but it's not. We'd have to drive like an hour and 15 minutes to actually get to the studio, which would be the most annoying thing in the world.
Totally not worth it. Just better to do it on the cheap and nasty, and as long as it's work, it's all fine by me.
I had actually coming over here, because we're at Reid's place. For anyone who's watching on the video side of things now, you might see the difference between the one that we recorded ages ago at my place and now here. Not the same house. So
No, very different house.
Yeah. But actually coming over here, I was using my GPS, first time that I'd actually come to your place, and it was saying that I had my estimated arrival time was 10 minutes away.
Yep.
And I pulled up to the lights and was getting basically every red light on the way over here.
Of course.
But when I stopped at the lights, usually you would expect that time frame to go out a little bit more, saying, oh, okay, now it's going to be 12 minutes until you get there. I actually lost 2 minutes sitting at the lights.
2 minutes?
I don't know how it happened. I lost 2 minutes though on my travel time.
Oh.
I looked at my phone. All of a sudden, it just said, "Oh, now you're going to get there in 8 minutes." And I was like, "Okay, how?
Did I go through time?
Yeah. What? How does that work? I've been sitting in the same place for the last 30 seconds. What's going on?"
Oh, I don't get GPS. That's why I don't have it.
No, it's but I was just using Google Maps on my phone, and it's like, well, you know, Google Maps. It's supposed to be one of the most advanced navigation technologies out there. So why is it all of a sudden going all stupid on me?
Probably the one time you actually use it, it starts to stuff up. So
Yeah.
Logic.
Even just coming here and having my phone connected to the Bluetooth in my car, it would give me directions through my car speakers, and then the next direction that it gave me was through the phone speaker.
Oh.
And it kept cutting back in directions between the speakers, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, just give me the directions in one spot, please. That'd be nice.
All of this just to get to my house. Very difficult journey indeed.
Well, it wasn't a difficult journey as far as finding the place. That was very easy. But as far as actually, listening to the directions and whatnot, that was a little bit of a trial in itself. But of course, if you want to follow along with the show, we should mention all that kind of stuff as well. You can follow us on Twitter at Ben and Reid on Twitter. We are now going to be doing some more stuff on Instagram as well. We haven't kind of nailed out the details of that just yet, but we'll get there eventually, and we'll be back on Instagram. It's just instagram.com/Ben and Reid or at Ben and Reid, whatever one you prefer to say it as. As far as listening to the podcast is concerned, you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, and also watch the video version of the show on Vidme, vid.me/Ben and Reid. And I'm also putting the shows back on YouTube now as well.
Yeah, I got a notification the other week that the video had gone up. I thought we gave up YouTube, but apparently not.
I think it's one of those things where, it's good to be in a place where you're going to get more exposure like a Vidme, but it doesn't hurt to be in more than one place at the same time.
Oh, fair enough.
So it's just like, let's just put them back up on there. And the good thing is about Vidme, I can upload the video to YouTube first and then literally just put the link to that video in the Vidme upload, and it just drags it from YouTube and puts it on Vidme.
How does it do that?
Vidme is awesome. Oh, that's why it's doing so well for itself.
I noticed, by the way, on Twitter, they actually had a bit of a cheeky go at YouTube.
Yeah.
They said, "Ooh, that's groundbreaking, YouTube." Something they did on their platform a little while ago that YouTube have just done. I don't know what their thing was, but I like that they had a bit of a go at a popular social media platform. I thought, nice work, Vidme. Very well done.
It was kind of funny to see them a couple of months ago. There's this big conference that happens over in Anaheim each year called VidCon, and it's just basically the gathering of all the YouTubers and all their fans just going mental for a couple of days, just like screaming and running around like crazy people. I went to it in 2012 and it was just nuts. I'll never go back there again. But
not exactly a good endorsement. I went once, never going back again.
No, but Vidme actually went to VidCon. Right. It's known as a YouTube conference, and they were just like, you know what? Let's just go and crash it. Let's just be Vidme at a YouTube conference. They went there, recorded a couple of videos. You can check them out on Vidme, but it's posted by the actual Vidme channel on Vidme, and just funny to see them interacting and just go, hey guys, maybe you might want to try out this alternative known as Vidme. That's where we're from. It's pretty darn good.
Original prankster. I love it.
So as far as this episode's concerned, Reid, first thing we want to touch on is a TV show that's making the rounds at the moment here in Australia. It's been shown everywhere around the world as well in different formats. Obviously in the US, it's a very big popular thing. That TV show is The Bachelor. But this season here in particular in Australia has just been flippin' ridiculous.
It's been getting quite intense, The Bachelor. I've watched it from day one.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've noticed with this season, more than any other season, is that the women have had enough. If they are not getting a word from The Bachelor, they are going up to him and saying, where are we at? Are we on the same page? You know, those sort of cliches you say when you're dating someone. And for the first time, the women have just saying, no, enough, I'm walking out. It's the first time it's ever happened. I've watched every other season apart from one, and it's the first time that the women have ever said, you know what, enough's enough, I'm going. I thought, good on you for actually walking out, but did you not know what you signed up for when you went on The Bachelor?
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't think they realise that they're going into this situation where it's just so intense and everything that you think on a daily basis is going to be about the guy or the girl who's the bachelor or the bachelorette in that scenario. And when everything's about them and everything's about them to everyone else around you as well, it's going to cause chaos basically everywhere. But I don't think people realise that when they're walking into the situation.
I don't think they really know what they're signing up for. The only thing I know what they're signing up for is to boost their Instagram account followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them are already quite established on Instagram. Some have just begun. And I think the minimal amount of followers any one of them has is like 4,000 followers. And the most amount is like 50,000. Yeah. So it's purely there to boost their Instagram following. And you watch any sort of these reality dating TV shows, every contestant has a social media account on Instagram to boost their followers. So very, very typical.
I find it kind of funny that there's been a lot of controversial revelations about this season so far. And a lot of the girls have had kind of sketchy past, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
There's been a lot of them that have revealed, it's revealed that they've been topless waitresses and stuff in the past, and then all of a sudden The Bachelor finds out about that and he's just like all high and mighty going, oh, I don't know about that, that's not very good.
It's a bit of a double standard as well, because the interesting thing I found out about it was that a few of the bachelors, the guys in previous seasons, have also done topless waitressing.
Exactly.
But do they get any people hating on it? No, it's just the women. The women can't be a topless waitress and get nothing said about it. So it's very weird how that's all happening.
Well, because the guy from the first ever season of Australian Bachelor, what was his name?
Tim Robards.
Tim Robards. And then you had Blake something.
Garvey.
Blake Garvey. That's really weird that you know all
this.
Yeah,
I have got way too much time on my hands to watch The Bachelor, but I love it.
But these guys, it was revealed about them after their seasons that they had been male strippers in the past. And it's just like, well, you know, when you look at situations like this, you are a bit of an attention whore, for lack of a better term. That's the reason why you're on the show in the first place. And then you look at some of the, what they call rigs that these guys have, and it's just kind of like, well, you know, when you're seeking so much attention in your life and you're building yourself up in the gym to be like this, obviously there's a good chance that you're going to be putting that to use, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. They're all like the kind of guys that be at the gym 7 days a week, 2 or 3 sessions a day sort of thing. So they live at 2 places, home and the gym. You never see him any other place.
I don't know how people can have that much dedication to the gym in that kind of situation, though, to just be like, okay, this is what I want to look like, and I'm going to go to the gym this many hours a week to actually look like that. Because even now, I'm back at the gym again, doing my workouts on a semi-regular basis. I've got myself up to 3 days a week at the moment, where I'm just going in, doing a fair bit of cardio more than anything else, and then doing a little bit of weights here and there, body weight stuff and whatever, and then getting myself out of there. And I have no desire to in any way sculpt my body to be one of these, beach bods that's just like, yeah, summer comes around, abs out for the ladies kind of thing.
It's like summer bodies are made in winter.
Yeah.
I'll be at the gym right now getting beefed up. Ugh, spare me. I mean, all I do is I just walk every day, and you don't see me putting any photos on Instagram saying, ooh, look at me walking. I'm walking, everybody. How good is this? I'm getting in touch with nature.
That's one thing about potentially getting back on Instagram as far as putting content on Instagram kind of thing is we'll get way down behind the mountains and mountains and mountains of people who are showing off their ass, showing off their abs, showing off all these different parts of their body because they're just like, yes, I'm a fitness Instagrammer. And every time I post one of these photos, I get $2,000 from endorsements.
Oh, that's the other thing too. It's all about the endorsements on the Instagram profile. If you look at any of the previous contestants from previous seasons, they've all got a product or a service that they're trying to flog. The one that I really get sick and tired of is teeth whitening products.
Yeah.
What is it with the teeth whitening? Do they just spend all their marketing money on contestants from The Bachelor? Because I think they do. It's like, how bad are your teeth that you need to do this sort of stuff?
Well, as far as teeth whitening stuff is concerned, like you've got all those commercial ones that you can buy at the supermarket and like Priceline, Chemist Warehouse, those kind of places. And they're a quick fix that doesn't last forever, which means that you have to go back and buy more. That's the whole marketing gimmick of the whole thing. But if you keep buying these for the rest of your life, you're going to end up spending quite a bit of money on these to keep your teeth regularly white. But a lot of people don't realize that if you just go to your dentist and pay them a one-time fee of about $500, you can get your teeth bleached and have them white for the rest of your life until they fall out.
Did you just say that, Ben, that we can actually save money by going once a year instead of paying a monthly fee?
Exactly.
Oh my God, revelation!
It's freaking amazing.
Oh my God. Now, while we're on The Bachelor, there is something I did want to talk about, not regarding this season, but regarding last season.
Right.
Now, last season on The Bachelor, a guy named Richie was The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And when it came down to the final 2 contestants, it came down to a woman in Perth, where Richie lives, and a single mum from Melbourne, more specifically, Frankston, which is just the best description ever. So basically what has happened is, and you can probably hear some animals making some noises as we speak, but you're just going to have to, accept that. What happened was last year they got together. Great, no one saw it coming. Fast forward a year. The question remains, are they still together?
Yeah.
Because what's happening is some people are noticing that they're not posting any photos of each other on Instagram anymore. And every photo has a comment, are you still dating?
Yeah.
And they never reply. Now, the reason they don't reply is because A, they don't have to because it's not a court of law. But B, by not answering the question, are you still together, it's keeping the story relevant. Every media outlet is still reporting about, are they still together? And there's a new story regarding this couple of last year from Alex. Now, the rumour is that she's not dating Richie anymore. She's dating a woman from Frankston, more specifically, the football club that they play together at. And I think there's no story to actually say this is true or not. It's just gossip. It's purely gossip. Someone saw a photo of them together and they think, oh, they must be dating. Oh, they play the same football team. Therefore, they're dating. No more Richie for Alex. It's all over. The problem I've got with this whole story is she's got a kid. Mm-hmm. There's a little boy in the middle of all of this, and we sort of don't talk about him, which we shouldn't really be talking about him, but he's caught in the middle of all this. You know, he's got his mum dating potentially a woman, potentially dating a guy from Perth.
Yeah.
It's all very messy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's really the best look for The Bachelor, but you got last year's Bachelorette, Georgia Love, and her love, Lee, and they're happy as happy can be. And then you got the single mum from Frankston dating a woman, or is she dating her Bachelor from last year? It's getting very, very messy, this story, and because she's not answering the question, are you and Richie still together, it's keeping the story going. It's keeping them relevant.
And one thing that I've noticed as well, because I have to keep up with like popular culture headlines basically every day for working in radio, basically daily visits, constant visits to places like news.com.au, and they're always posting all those different stories about it. And there was apparently a photo that was circulating around. It was a photo that someone had taken of the front cover of one of the gossip magazines, like New Idea or Woman's Day or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a photo of Richie's now ex, apparently.
Yeah.
And she was going in for a kiss with her new lesbian girlfriend.
Ugh.
And it was just like, seriously, people looking at this photo, how do they not realize that that's been photoshopped? Like, it's so clearly, visibly photoshopped.
Yeah.
Yet people will just go, oh my goodness, I have to pay $4.50 to buy that magazine and read the story.
I think it's a case of if it's on the internet or if it's in a gossip magazine, it must be true.
Yeah, yeah.
It's totally not true. First of all, it's a gossip mag. We all saw what happened with Rebel Wilson and her issue with one of the gossip mags. And pretty much any time a negative story is ever written, you can bet your ass, sorry about the language, but you can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be a story written about them, and they're going to upload a photo on their social media account. Happened to Samantha Armitage just recently. There was an article written about her that she's unhappy and that she's unhappy in love. And she took to Instagram and she said, no, don't believe everything you read. I'm sick of these stories being made up about me. It's pure gossip, but they report gossip as fact.
Yeah.
And that's what's annoying a lot of people.
Now, one thing I want to do here just quickly is just have a look. And yes, we are still recording, which is a good thing, because just putting it out there, this is the first time that we've used this setup, and I just want to make sure that it actually is going to be, you know, continuing to record, because that's the last thing that we want, is just be sitting here talking and it's just like, oh, I stopped recording about 10 minutes ago.
Well, it reminds me of the first time we tried to do one of our radio shows as a pre-record.
Yeah.
And we did an entire show and there was no audio recording of it.
Yeah.
I thought, what happened? I pressed record, but the computer, for whatever reason, stuffed up.
And that's the whole thing. We were just like, the whole time, yeah, we're recording a show, microphones are on, everything's going, we're seeing things happening, and then it was just like, no, file corrupted, no audio. Sorry about that, guys.
Now, I don't want to bore too much more people about The Bachelor, because I could talk about it for a long time. But if you don't watch The Bachelor, there is a fantastic way you can catch up on The Bachelor without having to watch it. It's called The Bachelor Recap on this website called Punky.
Yes.
It's a spin-off of the website Junkie. Now, it's been happening for a few years, but they're now on a new website called Punky, and it is the funniest thing you can ever see. If you don't watch The Bachelor, it's basically a 3 or 4 minute little video clip the next day after it, and it is just a mock-up of The Bachelor and the funniest moments, or what people perceive to be the funniest moments.
And I think from watching these videos, anyone who watches them will immediately become a fan of Surf Dog Bachelor.
Surf Dog Bachelor, Surf Dog Bachelor.
It's my highlight of the whole thing every time.
I love it.
It's like, I'll like get home and it'll be halfway through an episode or something like that, and Gabs is sitting on the couch watching it, and I'll see like a wide shot of them on like a ferry or something like that. And it's just like, oh yeah, they're going to use that bit of it in Punky, and like it'll be Surf Dog Bachelor in the front of it every time. It's fantastic.
I think they actually tried to find out where Surf Dog Bachelor is.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a online petition going at the moment to try and find out who he is. Apparently, they know who he is, and they're going to be doing a story about him in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully there's more of Surf Dog Bachelor to come in the next few weeks.
Well, there you go. Hey, I want to shift the focus to Netflix here for a moment. At the moment, there's a lot of people trying to start new things to kind of take down Netflix, because they see Netflix dominating that whole market of the streaming service. Apparently, the next one to do so is going to be Apple. Have you heard about this?
No.
So Apple are going to try and start their own streaming service as of 2018 that will go on things like the Apple TV and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And it's basically going to have all their own original programming on there as well. They're going to be spending billions of dollars to actually have all their own original TV shows.
Wow.
Just like Netflix does.
Incredible.
So it kind of makes you think, like, what kind of things will they actually have? Will there be any star power that brings people into watching these shows? Will it be a viable contender? And is there a potential of bringing any shows from the past back once again, kind of like Netflix has done in a certain way, but bringing new life to these shows, like kind of like Full House, and now there's Fuller House on Netflix.
Yeah, maybe just if you like Full House, maybe just don't watch Fuller House. Just FYI.
I've never actually seen an episode of Fuller House, but I've been told that it's absolutely terrible, even though it's getting more seasons.
Look, I had a free night. I thought I'll give it a go. If I had have known it was going to be what it was, I would not have watched it, obviously. So I apologise, but I had to watch it. I wish I didn't.
If one of the shows that I really did like on Netflix, even though I don't actually have Netflix, I just log into my parents' account every now and then, just when we've got absolutely nothing to watch. I'll just be like, oh yeah, we'll just log into mum and dad's account because I set it up for them anyway, so I know all the login details.
I did all the work.
So why can't I use it every now and then? But one series that I really did enjoy recently was Glow. Did you see Glow at all? It's basically a show about the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Okay.
And Glow was a company that was around in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they tried to make it as a over-the-top women's version of what the WWF was at the time.
Right.
And make this, over-the-top wrestling show that just featured women and women only, considering the wrestling world was so dominated by men at the time. And it was kind of like, telling a story about the company itself, but they actually made really intriguing characters for the show too. And a lot of actual wrestlers showed up in the show along the way. One of the women who's in the show is who stars in the show throughout the entire season was actually a former wrestler herself, still wrestles every now and then.
Yeah.
But there was all these cameos from ex-WWE guys and all that kind of stuff, and it was really weird just seeing all these faces pop up, and you're just like, oh, hey, that's Alex Riley. Oh, hey, that's Carlito. Hey, what's John Morrison doing here? So it was a really good show for that aspect of seeing all the cameos and stuff, but the story was really well done. And the character development was really well done as well. And it's actually been greenlit for a second season too, which is good news. But if they can have more shows like that in a Apple streaming service as well, I think, they could get a bit of an audience behind them, but they have to make sure they're doing it right.
Well, that's the thing too, because a lot of the fans of, genres like wrestling and even old 80s and 70s TV shows, if you do a remake or bring it into the 21st century, so to speak, if it's a terrible version, wow, you're really doing a disservice to the episode or the TV show or genre that you're wanting to do. So if that was actually really good to watch, then that's great to see. But there's definitely a lot of people interested or companies interested in doing a lot of these streaming services. Did you hear what Disney did just recently with Netflix?
They've done something a bit underhanded, haven't they?
Yeah, they got out of their contract with Netflix and they're going out on their own. Apparently it's going to be like $1 billion worth of money or advertising into this service. So Disney with Netflix for a number of years, very popular, but they wanted to do their own thing. They thought, hey, we could do some pretty well out of this.
So that means that all the Disney content that's on Netflix will now be taken off their service.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if it's still on there or if it's going to be on there for a certain period of time, but it won't be there much longer. So if you do have Netflix and you like a Disney film, watch it while you can. Now,
in the grand scheme of things, with all these streaming services going on, how long do you think modern TV as we know it right now is going to last?
Well, I think the only thing saving modern television is free-to-air sport.
Yep.
It's really the only thing people watch television for. Gone are the days when you watch movies on TV. There was a channel recently that set up in Australia called 7 Flicks. Now, when they first began, their motto was movies at 8:30 every night.
Yeah.
Lasted about 6 months.
Yep.
Now, Big Bang Theory episodes from 7:30 till midnight.
Oh, Big Bang Theory marathons basically every night of the week. It's really... I don't get it. Basically everyone who's a fan of that show has them on DVD or on a hard drive or something like that anyway. So why do we need to see all these marathons all the time of the same episodes?
I think
it's always the same episodes.
I think it's lazy programming. They play the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then after the third or fourth, they then go back to the first episode and play it till midnight. So I think it's lazy programming. The only thing saving modern television nowadays is sport, particularly in Australia. We've got footy and rugby and all the rest of it, but mainly sport. I think what is really hurting modern television is stuff like Netflix and streaming services where you can watch an entire series in one day or when you want to watch it, not when the network dictates you must watch it at this time on this day.
Yeah. And as far as the whole binge watching culture is concerned, are you much of a binge watcher when it comes to your favourite shows?
I'm actually not.
Yeah.
I like doing a bit of the old-fashioned way, sort of watching it one or two every now and then. My mother, don't mean to rat her out on this, she is a massive binge watcher.
Yeah.
We have got a smart TV here, and she watches a lot of shows on SBS on demand.
Oh, right.
A lot of the foreign shows, like particularly German shows and Dutch and all the rest of it. And she'll be here watching it for like 6 or 7 hours of a night time watching it. I think, good on you, but maybe just take a break every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's different for everyone. I don't binge watch, no. It's not something for me. What about you?
I think as far as binge watching is concerned, like, I guess technically I would be considered a binge watcher, but at the same time, I have stuff on in the background when I'm at home just for kind of background noise, basically.
Yeah.
And we do have, like, a lot of the TV shows that we've really liked over the years, like How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, all, you know, kind of the staple ones like that.
Yeah.
We do have them on DVD, and we'll constantly be rotating. And, you know, once we finish one whole lot, we'll move on to the next one and, you know, just have them on for background noise while we're doing other stuff around the house.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we are binge watchers, as we'll go through like a whole disc in one day. But at the same time, we're not just sitting there on the couch just looking like zombies watching the TV.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing other stuff while the show's on. So yeah, kind of binge watchy, but not really binge watchy in the sense of what everyone else sits down and binge watches shows in.
I find a lot of the binge watching culture quite bizarre because in life nowadays, everyone is busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy doing this. I'm busy doing that. I can't talk. I'm too busy. But people have got time to binge watch for 6 or 7 hours watching a TV show that they've probably already watched before. So I find that quite bizarre because the amount of times I want to, you know, talk to someone on the phone or message someone and say, I'm too busy for this. And then you find out they're binge watching. It's like, oh, okay, good on you. But
And like, not to get all, you know, like one of those entrepreneur preachy internet guys or anything like that, but, you know, a lot of people are saying that they are super busy, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, you work for 8 hours a day, you sleep for maybe 6 or 7 hours of the day, and you maybe travel to and from work for another half hour either side of your work. So you have a good maybe 4 to 6 hours, depending on your circumstances, that you can be doing other things with your day. And you're saying in those 4 to 6 hours, you're too busy to do anything else, but yet you're filling them up with just straight up binge watching all the time of your favorite shows.
binge watching and just scrolling through your phone on Instagram, finding out how to whiten your teeth, you know, it's all beyond me.
Because I think that's a lot of the things that people say these days as far as advertising is concerned. For example, no one's paying attention to ads on TV anymore because as soon as you are watching a TV show and it gets to the ad break, everyone picks up their phone and starts scrolling through their phone, and like that's where all the advertising space is now because, you know, everyone's looking at Facebook, looking at Instagram, so they have to put ads there to still let people know that there's products out there in the world that you might want to buy. And that's why people are getting so peeved off at social media now, because it's basically just a whole bunch of ads.
You can't watch a video on Instagram or Twitter anymore without having an ad not being played.
That's one thing that really kind of surprised me a couple of months ago, is that Facebook have ads on their videos now. When you're about to watch a video on Facebook, there is a lot of scratching going on in the background. The cats are going nuts.
You might see me run out just in a second just to find out how his paws are still going. Because if you can hear this, I might just... Actually, you know what?
Let's just put a pause on this now. I'll entertain the audience for a moment.
Yeah, don't talk crap about me while I'm gone.
I will not. But we'll just monitor this and see how Reid's going to go.
He's still there.
Getting the cat's attention. Just going nuts in the bedroom because they were going crazy. The cat was just kind of everywhere, just, you know, almost knocking over the camera and everything and all that kind of stuff before, because it was just inquisitive. That's okay, that's fine. But after a while, it was just like, okay, we're not going to get anything done if the cat's just constantly here. So we put the cat away, and it seems like the cat's not liking being away. So I think by the sounds of things, we have a solution. Possibly. Here comes the cat.
Now, if you can hear the cat, I'm going to give you 15 seconds of fame here.
Oh, look out.
Hello.
Debut of the cat.
Yes.
Yay.
Sorry, I'm going to try and put him in another room, but...
Okay. Let's just give him a chance.
All right.
We'll give him a chance to walk around and see how much the distraction tactics get.
Are you going to behave yourself, Miko? All right, he's going to be walking around, so don't
Yeah.
walk over the stand. He's going to do it, you watch.
I guess as long as the camera stays up, that's the main thing. But we'll see what happens.
I'm going to try and put him on my lap. Now, back to the podcast.
Yes, back to the podcast. What were we actually talking about?
We were talking about ads on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So, as far as Facebook is concerned, I was trying to watch a video that literally went for, 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And it got 2 seconds into that video. And then after the first 2 seconds, it stopped and gave me a 15-second ad and then tried to start again.
Oh,
And I was just
no.
like, well, what's the point of that? Like, I'm watching an 8-second video and you're giving me 15 seconds of ad time. Really? Like, what were you thinking?
And that's the thing too. I mean, I get sick of those ones where you say you can't skip an ad, and it'll go for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, it's 30 seconds. I don't have that kind of attention span. I was only going to watch a 1 minute video, and I've got to spend 30 seconds of that watching an ad. No.
And why is it always a car ad?
Oh.
It's always about the new Toyota Hilux and all this kind of bullcrap all the time. It's like, I don't need it. I'm not a tradie. Like, leave me alone.
Believe me, we are the opposite of traders.
Yeah. We're the creative types.
Yes.
We like to sit on a couch making podcasts talking about The Bachelor.
Yeah, that's us, and we don't apologise for that at all.
And both of us are totally 100% straight, even though we spent about a half an hour talking about The Bachelor.
Well, that's what I try and tell people, but I don't think they believe me.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, just...
I actually just want to check, because a lot of the time I write down or type in different topics of stuff that have come up recently that we can kind of talk about. Have I written anything recently? Podcast topics. That was a while ago. Oh, there we go. At the moment, I've been trying to scam a scammer.
Scammer. Ah, yes.
I have told you about this, and basically what was going on here, my mum received a text message saying, actually I can tell you what the text message said. It was basically just, you have the same name as our clients, and you could be willing to, you could be eligible to inherit blah 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 amount of money. As the cat gets very inquisitive to see what's on the table. But it was basically, you can inherit a lot of money by having the same number as our client, by having the same last name as our client. Please get in contact with us via this email address to see if you're eligible or something like that. And Mum was just like, I'll just delete it and whatever. And I was like, no, send it to me so I can get the email address, and then I'll make up a fake email account and send them an email and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I sent these guys an email. It was benny@bhiggs.com. And so I was just like, I sent them an email saying that I've recently spoken to my family lawyer, and that I have actually been waiting for a semi-large inheritance sum. My lawyer just said to wait for a contact from somebody, so I'm guessing you're my contact.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if sending this email has scared the person at the other end, thinking, oh, this scam just got too real.
Ooh.
Because I didn't get any reply for the email whatsoever.
Oh.
So I thought, okay, I'll follow this one up and I'll send them another email saying, hey, just still waiting for your contact. Just let me know if you're the person I'm supposed to be talking to.
Yeah.
As soon as I fired that email off, got one of those mailer demons back saying this email account's been shut down.
Oh, no.
So I'm wondering if they were just like, well, this is getting too real. Someone has actually had a death in the family and we're going to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
They have a heart?
Yeah.
What?
Scammers have a heart, apparently.
I
Who
don't
knew?
get it. I don't believe it, but apparently it's true.
And it's kind of got me wanting to want to do more as far as, scamming scammers is concerned, because it's just fun. Like in the past, I've done like those ATO scam calls and all that kind of stuff where I've like strung it out with people for a good half an hour and then just gone, oh, by the way, I'm not believing any of this crap that you're spouting at me right now.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, you're wasting our time, F you, and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, well, you're trying to steal money from people, so how am I wasting your time when you've really been doing nothing with your life in the first place? Like, what's the point of that?
I think they're only trained to do one thing, to get abuse from people and to be hanged up on the phone or hang up on the phone. So when you got someone who's actually trying to play along and try to, get a bit of attention from them, and they don't get it. Like, it's gone too far. Hang up.
Yeah.
They panic.
Yeah.
They freak out.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, as far as the phone scammers are concerned, like with the ATO scam calls, what's the American tax system called? The American equivalent, just so you know what we're talking about as far as the ATO is concerned. The IRS. That's
IRS, yes.
So over in the States, it'd be the IRS scam calls, but here it's the ATO. And all these different things that are going around, if you really start to question them, they get really shirty with you, like super shirty. And they're just like, I'm starting to think that you're trying to, waste my time right now, and you're not really serious about this whole thing. And it's like, well, no, I'm not serious about it, because you're obviously a scammer and I'm just stringing you along for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And then they just abuse the crap out of you.
Oh, and that's the other thing too. I mean, they're nice to you on the phone, but then all of a sudden something happens and you've woken up a beast in them,
Yeah. And I think one of the best things that you can have in your arsenal going into this whole thing is, if you're going to try and scam one of these scammers, as far as like the ATO calls and all that kind of stuff is concerned, know some Indian swear words.
Oh, hello.
Because a lot of the time the calls are coming from India.
Yeah.
Because they'll have a call center over there that is a legit call center for, like, I don't know, Energy Australia or something like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that call center, they'll also have a couple of phones in the back where people are working scams. This is what I've read on the internet anyway. Like, this is the shady stuff that's going on as far as these call centers are concerned. But when you're calling them and they're going nuts at you and all this kind of stuff, if you just know one of these little words, like the simplest of swear words or the simplest of insults, like that can say, like, your mum is fat or something like that, and it's just like a one-word little thing that you can spout off, and they'll just go absolutely nuts. They'll just start going crazy, calling you every Indian name under the sun and all that kind of stuff. And it's so hilarious just hearing them just going mental when they've been trying to scam you for the last half an hour.
Wow, it's a good thing to have in your arsenal, to have something like that, to know that if they're going to come at you, just say one little chicken and blow up. I think people to watch as far as who do regular scam calls and stuff like that. If you're on YouTube, search for The Hoax Hotel. Oh. It's basically a guy who makes a decent living on YouTube, just calling these people and uploading these scam calls. Wow!
And he does a whole heap of different ones, like whether it's just your basic scams with the ATO and all that kind of stuff, or there's other ones where he'll be contacting people from what's the Craigslist and things like that, who are trying to sell pets, quote unquote, and it's like some foreign parrot or something like that they're trying to sell, or like even housing stuff, as far as going to rent a property and stuff like that. There's even scams like that going on in the US as well. It's amazing how many scams people actually have going on just to get a bit of money in their pocket.
Do you think his parents are happy that this is how he earns a living, by having a YouTube channel and pranking all kinds of people for money and entertainment? I'm
sure it's not the only form of income that he has. I'm sure he probably has actual day job as well. I think it's more of a money on the side kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny. I was watching it recently. He was doing a live stream and he was playing some old video game, kind of like a Doom or Wolfenstein kind of looking thing. And it wasn't one of those games, though. It was kind of some weird, left of center branded game, kind of like that.
Yeah.
But he was using the stuff around him inside the game to say what was going wrong with his computer.
Yeah.
Because he was doing one of those scams where they say, "Oh, your Windows has your version of Windows has a problem. Please call this number and get it resolved."
Oh.
So they can hack into your computer and then get a hold of all your personal details and stuff. And just some of the stuff that he's spouting off, like all this terminology of the signs on the walls in the game and all that kind of thing. They're just like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Brilliant.
So yeah, Hoax Hotel on YouTube. If you want to see like Ahoy the scam calls and all that kind of stuff, that's a perfect one to search right there.
Well, it is the weekend. I do have a bit of time on my hands, so I might be spending most of my weekend looking at that.
Is there anything else that we have to cover as far as this episode is concerned? I think we've done a fair whack of time with this one. What are we up to? 39 minutes of us talking for a good portion of that about The Bachelor. So
yeah, clearly we've got a lot going on in our lives, and that's what we talk about the most.
Do we wrap it up for the week?
I reckon that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, I reckon we call it quits there. Yeah. So if you want to follow along with the show, you can do so, of course, on Twitter, at Ben and Reid on Twitter. Also back on Instagram very soon as well. Going to have a chat about that after we wrap up this episode right here. So that's at Ben and Reid on Instagram also. And if you want to see the show, you can do so on Vidme and YouTube. Vid.me/Ben and Reid is the best place to go. But if you're not on Vidme and you just want to watch it on YouTube, search for Ben and Reid on YouTube. You'll find the same episodes waiting for you right there too. Listening to the audio version of the podcast, SoundCloud, Stitcher and iTunes are the places to go. You can listen to us whenever we upload an episode right there. As you probably know, we are a monthly or more podcast. So you might see us in 2 weeks' time. You might see us in 4 weeks' time. Who knows?
Whenever we can feel like it.
Exactly. We do have a bit of spare time in the coming weeks as far as your family isn't necessarily in the house. So we can probably just have free reign of this place for a couple of weeks that we can record a couple of things.
It's going to get wild.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking about even doing an episode as far as just playing some video games whilst we're actually doing the podcast and just having a general talk about video games as well. So we might slot that in for the next one maybe.
I reckon we can.
Yeah. So stick around for that. That's going to be coming up in the next episode and you can see that then. But until then, just, enjoy life, I guess.
Enjoy life. If you can be bothered, just enjoy it.
I've been Ben Rogers. This guy has been Reid Marnie in the same place as each other for a change, which is good. We can actually do a fist bump and be physically touch, which sounds kind of weird.
Don't say that to your girlfriend.
Signing off. See you, bye.